Okay, real talk. You're sitting in your condo in Toronto paying $2,800 a month in rent, your hydro bill just came in at $340, you've got a side hustle, maybe two, and you're still living paycheck to paycheck. Meanwhile, there are Canadians, regular people, not doctors, not Bay Street guys, living in the middle of nowhere, getting paid over $120,000 a year. Their rent is like $700 a month, and the government is literally cutting them bonus checks just for showing up. And most people in the GTA, Vancouver, or Calgary have zero clue this exists. So today, we're going full deep dive on 4 Canadian towns. And I'm not talking generic move north content. I'm talking specific towns, real numbers, actual job postings, real programs, because this is a financial strategy that could genuinely change your life. Stay with me. Before we get into the towns, you need to understand the engine behind all of this, because this is the part nobody explains properly. It's called the Northern Residents Deduction, or what people up there just call the Northern Living Allowance, and it is wildly underused. Here's how it works. The Canada Revenue Agency recognizes that living in isolated northern communities is genuinely expensive. The groceries cost more, the flights cost more, everything costs more. So they built a federal tax deduction into the Income Tax Act specifically to compensate you. For 2024, if you live in a Zone A prescribed northern zone, think Yukon, Northwest Territories, or Nunavut, you can claim up to $11.66 per day just for being there. That's $4,255 a year off your taxable income before you even touch your employment deductions. If you have a family, it doubles. But here's where it gets spicy. Most northern employers stack on top of this. They call it a northern allowance or a remote living supplement, and it can be anywhere from $6,000 to $20,000 extra per year on top of your salary, paid directly by your employer, tax advantaged. So you've got the federal deduction, plus the employer supplement, plus the inflated base salary they have to pay to attract people. You're looking at a compensation package that, when you do the full math, absolutely destroys what you'd make in the South doing the same job. Let's get into the towns. All right, first up, Whitehorse, Yukon. Population roughly 30,000. This is the biggest small city you've never seriously considered, and it might be the most livable northern city in Canada. Here's the financial breakdown, and I want you to actually do the math with me. The average household income in Whitehorse sits around $115,000 to $130,000, and that's average, not outlier. Trades workers, electricians, plumbers, heavy equipment operators are routinely clearing $110K to $140K. Government of Yukon employees, benefits package that a Toronto HR manager would cry about. Nurses up there are making $95K base plus a $15K to $20K northern allowance. Teachers, same story. Now here's where it flips the script. The average 2-bedroom apartment in Whitehorse rents for around $1,400 to $1,700 a month. Compare that to Toronto's $2,900, Vancouver's $3,200. You're saving anywhere from $15,000 to $22,000 a year just on rent alone. And Whitehorse isn't some frozen hellhole, eh? It's got a Walmart, a Canadian Tire, a legit food scene, a craft brewery scene that punches way above its weight, and some of the most insane outdoor access on the planet. Hiking, kayaking, ski hills, you live like you're on a permanent vacation. The catch? Groceries are pricier. A bag of apples might cost you 30 to 40% more than in Calgary, but when you're banking an extra $30K a year in combined allowances and rent savings, a $200 a month grocery premium is a rounding error. Job sectors hiring hard right now? Healthcare, government administration, trades and construction, social work, and hospitality. The Yukon government website has a jobs board that is consistently stacked. Next, Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. If Whitehorse is the chill northern city, Yellowknife is where the real money lives. This city runs on diamonds and government, and both pay exceptionally well. The Akiti and Inuvik diamond mines are within striking distance, and the resource extraction sector here has been paying tradespeople and operators $130,000 to $180,000 a year on rotational schedules, meaning you work 3 weeks, you're home for 3 weeks. You're not even there full-time, and you're clearing 6 figures. For people who want the city life, Yellowknife proper has a surprisingly vibrant culture. It's got the best aurora viewing in the world, which has turned it into a serious tourism hub. It's got restaurants, a brewery scene, strong arts community. The Wildcat Cafe has been open since 1937, no cap. The NWT government also runs one of the most generous public sector packages in Canada. A social worker in Yellowknife makes around $85,000 base plus $22,000 in northern allowances and subsidies. A registered nurse, $95,000 to $115,000 base with housing assistance programs that can cut your rent cost by 30 to 40% if you work in the public sector. And here's the thing people don't realize. Yellowknife has subsidized government housing. If you're a territorial employee, you can access housing units at below market rates. We're talking 2-bedroom units for $1,000 to $1,300 a month in a city where you're making $120,000. The math is almost offensive. Stick around. The third town on this list has a program so aggressive the government will literally help pay your moving costs to relocate there. Thompson, Manitoba. And I know what you're thinking. Manitoba? Hear me out. Thompson is the capital of northern Manitoba, population around 12,000, and it is criminally underrated as a financial relocation play. The Vale nickel mine in Thompson has been one of the most significant mining operations in Canada for decades. Trades and technical workers there are clearing $95,000 to $140,000 with rotating shifts, and the mine has been expanding operations, which means they are aggressively hiring. But here's the unique angle for Thompson, the Northern Manitoba Moving Incentive. Under various provincial and municipal attraction programs, Thompson has offered direct moving assistance. We're talking $3,000 to $10,000 in relocation support to attract skilled workers and healthcare professionals. The Northern Health Region has been in a persistent staffing crisis, which means if you're a nurse, a doctor, a lab technician, a paramedic, you're walking into a bidding war for your services. Healthcare workers in Thompson are regularly negotiating $110,000 to $130,000 total compensation packages before the federal Northern Deduction kicks in on their taxes. And the cost of living? A 3-bedroom house in Thompson sells for around $180,000 to $250,000. A house, 3 bedrooms, in a community with a strong school system, an indoor water park. Actually, Thompson has one of the best recreational facilities per capita in northern Canada. Look, Thompson isn't going to have the nightlife of Yorkville, but if your goal is to aggressively build wealth in 5 to 7 years and come back south with a fully paid house and $200,000 in savings, Thompson is a legitimate play. Quick bonus, because I'd be doing you dirty if I didn't mention Inuvik, Northwest Territories. It's smaller, about 3,200 people, but if you are a single person with a trade certification or healthcare background and 0 family obligations, Inuvik is where the math gets almost absurd. Healthcare workers there can access full housing subsidies, meaning your accommodation cost can drop to near 0. Combined with a $95,000 plus salary, the Northern Federal Deduction, and the territorial allowance, your take-home savings rate can approach 60 to 70% of your income. People are going up to Inuvik for 2 or 3 years and coming back south with down payments on Toronto or Vancouver condos, in cash. Okay, so now you know the towns, but let me give you the actual playbook, because winging it up north is not the move. Step 1, get your credentials audited. If you're in healthcare, trades, or social services, check if your provincial certification is recognized in Yukon, NWT, or Manitoba. Most are, but some require a registration transfer that takes 4 to 8 weeks. Do this before you apply anywhere. Step 2. Go directly to the source for jobs. The Yukon Government HR Portal, the NWT Careers page, and Northern Health Careers for Manitoba. These are your hubs. Don't rely on Indeed for Northern postings. Half the best jobs never make it to the big boards. Step 3. Negotiate for the full package. When you get an offer up north, the base salary is just the starting point. Ask explicitly about northern allowance, housing supplements, relocation assistance, retention bonuses, and professional development stipends. These are standard. They're expecting you to ask. Step 4. Run the actual 5-year model. Take your current salary, add northern allowances, subtract the northern cost of living premium. Calculate your savings rate. Most people who do this math honestly find they can build more wealth in 5 years up north than in 10 years in the south. Look, I'm not saying pack your bags tomorrow. Northern living isn't for everyone, and that's totally valid. The winters are dark, the isolation is real, and Tim Hortons can only do so much. But if you're grinding in Toronto or Vancouver or Calgary and you feel like you're running in place financially, this is a real option.